let's see if this works. Gah! I have no idea how to do this stuff. Every time I do it, it seems to work differently and I don't get it right. I wish I knew what I was doing, then I would know exactly how to get this stuff working the right way. Let's see. Okay, can someone go back over to the other place and tell everyone to come back in here? Because I cannot figure out what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to have somebody train me on this stuff because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, I'm in here. I've shut the other one down as far as I can tell. Try to get everybody in here. Fast typing, yeah, it's hunt and peck, 100%. Let's see, so we get everybody in here. It's 4 minutes after. We're actually running a little bit late, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Looks like we've got a lot of people in here. Okay, so I'm going to detach my chat window so I can take a look at it a little closer to the camera, so it doesn't look like I'm turning my head all the way to the side. And then I'm going to shut Facebook down, bring my live auctions up. Sorry, folks. I've got to figure, somebody needs to train me on how to get these streams started properly and get them actually working the way they need to. Because I somehow cannot figure this out. But here we are. So we have a number of people here. Let me go ahead and get us started. And here we are with Coin Night Live Auction. This is auction number 4. Today's date is the 11th of June. We got Charlie's moderators are Brady Douglas, Jessica Johnson, and Amber Panel. And I'm going to need to hang on just a second. Nope, that's not what I want. That's what I want. This is weird. Okay, this is not the one I'm actually in. I have to figure out how to turn my volume down so I'm not feeding back to myself. And so you're not hearing me incessantly. Oh, please. Wow, I so need... Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I think I've got everything set the way it needs to be. And let me give it a shot by clicking through to the place that I need to be for the first auction lot of the night, which is lot number 122. So there's lot number 122. It's an 1830 large letters, cornet 1 cent. You could tell it's a large letters because the top of the E in states actually extends above the top of the T in states. And if you look at PCGS, if you look at the PCGS guide on that, you'll see that this coin matches pretty much perfectly with the large letters version. There's not a whole lot of difference in value. This one is a very good defining condition. It's a decent coin, good honest wear, no real damage, no plugged holes or any of that stuff, and I'm starting this one off at $25. And I, for some reason, still have... Let's see. I've got like a 3-second delay. See if I can figure out how to get that shut down so I'm not hearing it. Man, it doesn't bother me any. If nobody else can hear it, I'm not worried about it. Well, what is a true 3 to 4, Stephen Dallas?
Well, what is a true 3 to 4, Stephen
Oh,
Dallas?
okay. I'm still having trouble with feedback on this, and I'm not exactly sure how this is happening. I'm going to shut down my YouTube altogether. Ah, here it is. I found it. Now I have to go back and see if I'm still live because I accidentally shut it off. Alright. Now you guys shouldn't hear too much of me. Should be able to hear a little bit more of everything else, and I am still live. So let's go ahead and get started with this particular auction. Does anybody have any interest in an 1830 large letter style? It's in a low to mid grade. Decent, nice brown coin with good detail. And we do have a start at $25 hidden numismatist. Now, I've had a lot of things happen over the last couple of days, and getting this auction put together has been a little more difficult than some others. And one of the things that I have wanted to do that I've not been able to do as of yet is actually get myself a full week ahead on the lots that I've got going up. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. Start it down. Hidden Numismatist does collect coins, and this one is a nice one. And with that, we've got Amber this evening calling time. We've got Penny Parent doing a lot of the moderating. Somewhere around here, we've probably got Brady Douglas online. Hello, Les Wiley. I wanted to call you Wes, and it's Les. Scent Hoarder, hello. It's only $25 on this one right now. Just got a few more seconds left on it. Hey, Brady. And Brian. And Robert. And time is called on this item, and we're going to move forward to the next item. Thank you for your bid, sir. And here is the next item. This is a 1933D Lincoln Cent It is a very difficult date to run by. If you haven't happened to notice this when you're digging around in dealer boxes and things, 33D seems to be a spot that's missing a lot of times. This one does have a couple of minor issues. There's a scratch on the obverse just above the date. There's a couple of small digs on the rim on the reverse, and there is a black spot on the reverse. But starting at $5, this is a pretty decent price for a coin of this detail. Try to get this one started off at $5. I am going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. We don't have a bid yet. Let's see if we can get a bid in there. Today's weather has been horrible here. We've gone from extremely hot and sunny this morning to extremely rainy and hot this evening, and it's just soupy outside. The feed is cutting in and out. Can anyone else tell me if the feed is straight or cutting out for them? Because James Eubanks seems to be having a problem, and that could be an internet connection issue. Yeah, everybody says it's good there. James, I would recommend restarting your browser. Yeah, it's pretty normal Florida weather, actually. And as we run close on time, we got a $5 item. Go ahead and get started on it if you want to get started. And we got time. And go ahead and move on to the next item up for bids. Lot number 124 is a 1909 VDB cent. It is a nice uncirculated coin. See how I read that coin? The mistype right there with a capital N. It starts at $14. This coin is of a grade. It has pretty nice luster on it, and it's of a grade that would generally sell for between $20 and $25. So we're going to get started on this one. We got Coin Junkie Silver up at $14. And this is lot number 124. It's got very strong detail. It has pretty nice luster, even though that doesn't show very well in my photo. It is a medium chocolate coin, kind of like a cream coffee color. Looks like we have a couple of bids now. Got a few bids going on. This particular coin is of the 1910 reverse style, which you can tell by the N in United especially, is that it has very deep, sharp cuts on the inside of the N of United. Mocha, nice color. It's nothing like Oklahoma mud. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this. Give you guys just about a minute to make your decisions and come back in and keep bidding. Right now we have CM Silver at 17. I almost feel like I'm calling a horse race. I like mocha, and I happen to have, well, I don't have a mocha, but I've got a coffee going on right now. Pro bowling. I don't even watch that. I remember seeing it a few times. As he bowled a strike in his last frame, and this time he's got a spare with a split. 7-10 split. We're running short on time, folks. Get your last bids in quickly. And Emperor calls time on this one. Let me move on to the next lot. This one's pretty. Even though it does have some hair lining, and it does have a couple of spots here and there. This is a 1940 proof. You just don't see these very often. This 1940 proof has some hair lining. It is, I'm going to call it probably a 62, 63 red. It's a pretty nice looking coin. Any irregularities that you might see in the details on this coin is actually coming from my lighting. My lighting is not very well set up to do images of proof coins. As you will see this evening, I have some pretty nice looking proof coins that look a lot better than what they do in the photos. Starting bid on this one is $29. Come on, folks, 1940 proof Lincoln cent. This is pre-war, very difficult to find, very low mintage. And we're going to start the timer on this one. For 1940, there were only 15,872 proofs made. This is one of 18,000. Not a whole lot of these out there. Did I say 18,000? I meant 15,800. That's even worse. 15,800. There are two other proofs after this one before World War II got started, the 1941 and 1942, both of which have mintage figures nearly double this one. Running low on time, we've got Robert Adams at a high of 29 right now. And Cent Hoarder at 30. Robert Adams at 31. And we've got Called Time. Sorry, Cent Hoarder didn't get it in there in time. Got next item up for bids. We're going to do another high quality Lincoln cent. Now this one is graded by NGC. These are kind of tough, as anybody should know who's been around and been into Lincoln cents, especially these earlier ones. The little looks like a coffee stain on the reverse between the U and the R of pluribus. That is a very shiny spot from where the die was polished, as is the area around the UNU of unum. Those are not marks on the coin. Those were marks on the die, and they were not considered in grading this coin simply because that's just the nature of grading. You don't grade things on a coin that are based on the die unless it severely affects the appearance of the coin. And so 1936 and MS66 red is not a very easy coin to come by. And we're starting this one off at $16. I don't know what to call it. Is that Do Your Brown Soda? No, someone's going to have to tell me how to read that. But soda, I'll just call you soda at 16. Steve in Dallas goes 17 on this one. These coins generally in this condition sell for between $25 and $30. So I kind of started this die burn soda. Okay. Not sure what that means, but now I know. Thank you. Go ahead and start the timer on this one. Remember, your shipping fees for everything that you win here, regardless of weight and regardless of what it is going to be $4. I charge $4 total for shipping for every package. So if you win half the lots, you pay me $4 shipping, you'll get half the lots. Also remember that we've got a Facebook page. Just search Coppercoins on Facebook to come take a look at us. Come join in with us. Also, don't forget about coin cards. Some of you have received a few packages from me already, and you've got some coin cards. You've got a collection started. It's Sherman. Sherman decided to come see us. Hi, buddy. Just close the door. We'll be alright. And it looks like... I appreciate that, Les. Thank you very much. And we've got time called on this. Anthony, if you win something this time around, I will be sure to take that into account. I made a mistake. What happened was someone else said, I know my lot's going to cost a lot more than that to ship, so go ahead and charge me full shipping. And I thought that was you. So I charged you full shipping and didn't mean to. Let me go ahead and move on to the next item. We have a 1950 proof. Now this one does have a little bit of toning, a little color toning, but it also has a pretty significant amount of hairlining, and it's got a few spots on it, but it is a 1950 proof. Yeah, sorry about that, Anthony. Yeah, if you bid on anything else and win it, I'll be sure that you get free shipping on your next win. This is lot number 127. It is a 1950 proof cent. I grade this one probably a 6162 red. As you can see, it does have some hairlining on it, but it does also have some nice color toning. Go ahead and start the timer on this one. I only got 51,000 of these minted. Thank you, Amber. $51,386 is probably 1/1000th maybe of the mintage of the proof coins they make today. So there's not even enough for all of the residents of Muskogee, Oklahoma. And that was original mintage. Who knows how many of these actually still exist? Hey there, Black Steel. Show it under the scope? Yes, I can show it under the scope. We only got 9 seconds left. See what I can do with this. Got a $21 bid on this one, so I'm not going to get it there before time runs out, so we will just show it for a little while, see if we want to get any other bids in. But this is what the coin actually looks like. It does have some little bit of hazing, and it has a few pretty significant hairlining on it. It's not damaged in a sense, and it does still have that very bright proof sheen. And I appreciate the bid sent order. Go ahead and get this stuck back in the slip and move on to the next item. This is a 1952 proof. This one's got a lot of really nice color on it. Let me throw this one under the scope for you guys so you can take a look at it. That little thing next to the C of scent is actually a struck through fiber, struck through thread, or something to that effect. You can see it right there. You see how it does not affect the C as much, but it goes through it. There are just a few small hairlines on this. Has a lot of nice color though. I'll show you the other side. Not a whole lot of color damage, anything, hairlines, any of that. It's just a pretty coin. I'm going to start this one off at $14. I need to turn on the email address. You guys can see the email address down there below the title. That's the email address where you send any information regarding your whereabouts so that we can bill you properly. And we will send you an invoice that you can pay directly through PayPal. Unless you ask to be on the money order list. And if you want to be on the money order list and send us a money order instead, that works, but it has to be a postal money order. I don't accept any other forms of money orders. They're too easy to fake. And not saying that you would fake them, but it's possible that the people you're buying them from could be faked. That is actually purple toning on the coin. Yes, and it's actually toning, and you can actually tell some of it is the effect of a little bit of a fingerprint on the right hand side of the reverse. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this one. Sherman's on the floor sorting pennies. He doesn't have a ball in here tonight, so Sherman has learned to like playing with pennies. And he sits next to me, making sure that he's close enough that I can scratch his head. Ah, Sherman. Some of you may not know Sherman. As soon as this item ends, I'll go and we'll show you Sherman. I'm showing less than 30 seconds left on this one. Sherman is my sidekick. Sherman is my support dog. Although I think I support him more than he supports me because we live in South Florida where there's thunderstorms, and he is morbidly afraid of thunderstorms. Hey, Hoogie's back. We've got Hidden at 16, then Scent Hoarder at 17, and Amber Calls time. Thank you, Scent Hoarder, for your bid, and thank you, everyone, for your bids. Okay, so, look here, Sherman. Look here, buddy. This is Sherman. This is the mascot of the show. He's a bulldog slash pit bull slash whatever, and he usually squeaks on a ball, but today he's just being quiet. And he sits right next to my desk, right under my feet when there's thunderstorms. Hey, look up here. Look up here. That's Sherman. All right. Let's see. Get this put back together where it belongs, and we'll move on over to the next item up for bids. Here is a 1937 Lincoln Cent graded A blazing brilliant red NGC MS66 red. You don't see them in this condition very often, man. This thing is nice. And I'm starting it really low at $16. Roadrunner, if I had a cat, I probably wouldn't last very long. I'm allergic to them. Hi, Coin Help You. Amber's birthday is a month from today. So it is that July 11th. Note to self. Go ahead and pull the timer off of this so you can take a look at this coin. Now these are not easy to find in this condition very often. I mean, these things tend to come out of a certain number of rolls, and then other rolls they just don't exist. And I happened to find a couple of rolls that had some nice coins in them. I submitted them, and voila, here I get these back. We have CM Silver with a bid of $16 in. Now I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. Oh, and we have others. Sherman tells me I should get into this special event right after this item, so stick around. All of you people not registered to bid might want to get registered, because I've got an item coming up that'd be really nice for anyone who likes Lincoln Cents. Nobody but me knows this is coming up. Oh, this is huge. It's not really that huge, but it's cool. Now everybody wonders. Like 15 seconds left. Come on, people. Let's see what's going on. Sherman's excited. No, you don't have to register each week. Once is good enough. Once we know who you are, you're good. Nope. Anyone who buys from me once has bought from me, and we know who you are, and we can get you a... if you've received a PayPal invoice from me before, I know who you are. So this one's sold to CM Silver for $16. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I tell you what. I've got... Yeah, let me reach over and grab one. Where did I put them, Sherman? Oh, there they are. It's behind me. This little book right here, this has helped me a lot, because I like to write books that I want to read. And I wrote this book about the key dates to the Lincoln Cent. Now, it includes a lot of good images in here that tell you about all of the key dates, the better dates of Lincoln Cents, and all the different dies that were used to mint those. Now, this book I was selling when it was new. It's like about 3 or 4, 5 months ago. I was selling them for $20. And right now, so it's a 42-page guide. And right now, if you'd like to buy one of these, I'll sell them tonight only for $10. $10, that's $10 post-paid. If you don't buy anything else and you buy this book, you're going to get it for your $10 post-paid payment. Anybody who wants one can just say 10 or 1. Anybody who wants 2 or more can just tell us how many you want. Thanks, Daniel. And Sherman's down here jumping up and down with glee. I'm sure everybody can hear him. This book covers the die diagnostics for all of the key date Lincoln Cents. It's 1909 SVDB, the 1909S, the 1914D, the 1924D, and the 1931S. All the lowest mintage, highest value coins. If you use this book, you can authenticate yours by the placement of the mint mark and other markers. Anyone who gets one this evening, I'll sign all of them. Anybody who wants one of them, I'll sign it. And Penny Parent, if you just take note of who wanted one, so we can get them an invoice. It's gonna be $10 shipped. Can't get it much better than that. Well, they're all the coins you can't afford, but what happens if you happen to run into one? If you happen to run into one and you don't know whether or not it's real or fake, you wouldn't have this book to help you out. Or maybe your friend might bring you one and you can impress them with your knowledge. Unlike me, I don't have any friends, but if you have friends and they might happen to have a 1931S, you could help them figure out which die that 1931S was minted with. So let's move back to the slideshow. Thank you and you're welcome. Let's move on to the next item. Here is a 1937 Lincoln Cent, kind of like the last one, except this one is NGC graded MS67 red. This is a much more difficult coin to come by. These things commonly sell for between $79 and $89 online. I've got this one starting at $49. Nope, Steve, it does not cover the Wish specials. It does not cover the Chinese counterfeits. It's not got pictures of counterfeits in it, nor does it have descriptions of counterfeits. This is kind of like when we're dealing with the tellers at the banks. The way to get them to understand what real money feels like is to give them a lot of real money to mess with. You give them a bunch of counterfeits and then they start questioning everything. But once they know what the real stuff looks and feels like, they're much more apt to be able to recognize the real thing. And so that's what the case is with this book, as I'm showing you all the different dies of the real ones. Because if I was to try to photograph and show you all of the counterfeits that exist, it'd be a really thick book and it'd cost you a lot of money, and there's a lot of them that are very obvious counterfeits. Starting at $49 on this 1937 graded NGC MS67 red. I'll go ahead and start the timer on this one. I'll let the timer run down while we keep talking about this. This particular coin is one from the same rolls that the other one in MS66 came from, and there were fewer MS67s graded than there were 66s, of course. And as it turns out, there are some MS68s. Those are very expensive coins. Like I said, again, generally this thing sells for a neighborhood $75. And this one here I've got going at $50. $49 is the starting bid on this. So we'll go on down and let the clock run out on this one, then I'll move us on to the next item. If nobody wants to bid. It's one of those things where I have to try to pick out something that you might like to have, and it doesn't hurt my feelings at all if you don't bid, because, well, it means that you didn't need one. Well, Coin Junkie Silver got it at $49. Any OBW rolls upcoming? Yes, or there are. I got them slapped onto the end of this week's auction because we're not having an auction next week. I'll be out of town next Tuesday and will not be able to run an auction next week. I appreciate your bid. Thank you, Coin Junkie. Let's move on to the next item. Here's a 1953 proof. Now this one has a certain little amount of cameo to it, but the problem is it's rather spotty. It's a relatively clean coin. There's no there's no real problem with hairlining on it, and there are no active spots on it. It's just a generally spotty coin. And this one's starting at $6. Only $6 for a cameo proof 1953 Lincoln Cent. Do we have OBW rolls? We've got OBW rolls. I'll go ahead and start the Clock on this one. Give you a minute to make a decision as to whether you want this one or not. The opening bid on this is only $6. It's for a 1953 proof set. Don't tell him, Penny Parent. Let it be a surprise. Coming down to about the 30-second mark left on this 1953 proof set. Rolls are your love and weakness. Well, you might find something to bid on this evening. I think Kid Did Okay wants one of my books. We've got to start $6 on this particular item. We're down to the end of the wire. Get your bids in now before time runs out. And time. Thank you, Cent Hoarder. We'll move on to the next item up for bids. We have a 1954 proof set. Oddly enough, as they get newer in age, they get better in condition. This one's actually a pretty nice proof set. Now the little squiggly, I would say, posterization look to the hair and to the cheek on this coin is because the photograph was taken with LED lights, and that's kind of what happens when you take pictures of proofs with LED lights. The coin's actually in really good shape. So this one's going to start us off at $6. It's 1954 proof. You got a couple of little dark spots on the reverse. Other than that, it's a relatively clean coin, very nice, clean coin. Now you'll see a bunch of speckles in the fields. Those speckles in the fields come from this being a later die state coin. This was not one of the first 54 proof Lincoln cents struck. I'll go ahead and start up the clock on this one. We've got Stephen Dallas at $6. Got big news coming up too. Just for those who like to hang around and listen to the big news. The big news is coming. The big news is coming. The rolls are coming. And here pretty soon I'm going to show you that I understand how to step off the Lincoln cent soapbox. This is not only Lincolns around here. So we're running down to the last few seconds. We got Stephen Dallas at $6 bid on this item. Absolutely don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Just search Coppercoins on Facebook and you'll find us. Like that page and follow it. You'll find out a lot of information that you may not have already known about Lincoln cents. And Cent Hoarder gets this item at $7. Thank you very much for your bid. Anthony, yes, LED is actually pretty good because the temperature of the light is bright enough to deal with a lot of the natural colors on coins. And your camera, if you have it set to white balance to the LED lights, they work out really well. If you don't diffuse them, you end up getting the mottled appearance that I have in the hair here, where you've got a lot of brighter and dimmer and brighter and dimmer. It's because of all those little tiny light bulbs. And move on to the next item. This one's pretty nice. It's got some color on it. It is not all beat up like it may appear. It's just how the light captured the color on this coin. It's a relatively clean looking coin. It starts at $4. It's 1955 proof Lincoln cent. And this one has some nice colors. Running this one pretty inexpensive, starting off at $4, and Stephen Dallas outbid himself at $4. Bill Betts bids $5. And Steve bids $6. And Bill bids $7. We got a real bidding war going on here, folks. If you want to get involved, you just got to throw a number up there. Sorry, Anthony, your number has got to be bigger than 7. Now it's got to be bigger than 8. Stephen Dallas is current at 8. Cent Hoarder at 10. And Bill throws 11 up there. We make it a little faster, folks. You don't have to type a $sign. We understand that it's all in US dollars. We only take payment in US dollars or Zimbabwean dollars. That's a joke. Zimbabwean dollars, you'd have to add like 12 zeros to the end of it to make it even worth half what you're bidding. And not pesos. No, we don't take pesos. Let me go ahead and start the timer on this one. Give you guys 1 minute to fight this out. Up to Anthony Goodley has a bid of $12. Actually, Cent Hoarder has a bid of 15 on this one. The Zimbabwe money is kind of cool. It's almost hard to count the zeros on some of those things. I think they put like a 100 trillion note into circulation. That's amazing when you need $20 million just to buy a loaf of bread. Can't imagine how much a car would cost there. It features rocks. It has rocks on it. And they have different colors for the different bills. And they all have rocks on them. Starting to run low on time on this one, so get your final bids in there if you have any interest. And that is lot number 133. Time is called. Thank you for your bids. I'll move us on to the next item. And here is a 1956 Lincoln cent. It's proof. It has a little bit of scuffing going on below America. Otherwise, it's a relatively clean coin. Nice red coin. Has a few light spots on it. It's in really great shape for a $3 coin, folks. You don't see these older proof coins for that lower price very often. And this is lot number 134, and we have a bid of $3 from Stephen Dallas. I almost wish I could talk like one of those real auctioneer people. Closest I can do is run my finger up and down my lips and talk. I don't have any idea how to talk as fast as they do. I don't know what they do. I don't even know how they do it. Of course, 3/4 of what they say you can't understand anyway. That's about all the coordination I've got to bite my tongue. We'll go ahead and start the clock on this one and get it running down. We got 1 minute left to make decisions on whether or not you like this coin enough to outbid Stephen Dallas. Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. Sherman is not impressed. Poor kid. Sleeps 17 hours a day and he has to come in here to take a nap. What are my typing skills that fast? I guess I'm kind of 80 to 100 words a minute in the blind, except that I'm not really in the blind. I'm looking at the keyboard the whole time. I only use 4 fingers to type. Hello, Shay. Or is this Mrs. Shay? Starting to run a little low on time here. Get your final bids in if you want to. It is Shay. Shay, we need to talk sometime, brother. I'm bringing up these streams, and it seems like I'm sitting in the wrong place waiting for everybody to come by. Got to learn from each other. Got time called on this one? Cent Hoarder gets it at $4. Let me move on to the next item. How about that? 1937D. Now this one's an earlier cent before the war, and it has a mint mark. It's also graded MS66 red by NGC. Nice bright red coin here. $19, folks. Not going to see these very often at $19. This thing generally goes for over $30. This is lot number 135. True that, boys and girls. This is beautiful. You don't see these like this very often. Pretty nice and sharp detail on it. Has a couple of little spots, but that's why it's a 66 and not a 67. I'll go ahead and start the clock on this one. Stephen Dallas gets a $19 bid in there. If anybody else wants to get a bid in there, you need to bid higher than 19. We do have a number of auction items up for bids tonight. Penny Parent just posted a link to the Coppercoins page that has all of those items. It's basically all of these slides that you're seeing now in a linear fashion so that you can follow along, so that you can see all of them. You could try to print them out if you want to use all your printer ink because everything's black. I do that for nighttime eyes like mine. I prefer not to have a lot of bright lights. Although to be able to see me, I do have to have some bright lights on. But I don't want my screen looking at me with bright lights. We got a current bid $21 from Stephen Dallas from just a few seconds left to go. And time. I move on to the next item. Here is a 1954 proof silver Roosevelt dime. Nice proof coin. This is lot number 136. It's in really good shape. There's nothing wrong with this coin. No hairlines, no other problems. I'm going to start this one off at $10. You can hear Sherman snoring. Oh my gosh. Really? He is. You kind of hear it off in the side. Hey buddy, everybody's listening to you. He's one of those dogs that'll snore with his eyes wide open. He'll be looking at you snoring. I think you're supposed to snore when you're asleep. Yeah, he's a character, that's for sure. He is a character. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this one. Now, if you're looking for proof dimes, this would be the place to get your 54. And one thing to remember is that we do have an Instagram page too, where we share a number of the Did You Know and other things that we have going on. We are a full social media follower. I can't really say that because we don't do Twitter. We leave that to the president. and Nicki Minaj and people like that. I'm not famous, so we don't do Twitter. Well, just a few seconds left on this one. And hidden bids $10 on this coin. I think just before time runs out. Thank you for your bid. Amber, refresh your browser. I think you're running behind. That's the real Coppercoins. That's right. Brady2424 posts right there, the real Coppercoins. That's the Instagram page. Move on to the next item. Here's a 1955 proof dime. This one has some toning on it. It's not as black as it appears. Let me get it out here. I'll stick it under the scope and let you take a look at the color. It does have some pretty nice color. It's all along the edge of the coin, or the rim area, edge of the design. I have no idea what this is going to look like when I get it. Yeah, it's not bad. Nice proof coin. Has virtually no cameo on it, but it's still a 1955 proof dime. The 55 proof sets are an anomaly in themselves because they came both in the boxed version, which would be the older style, and in the flat cello packs. Unfortunately, once you open the packs up, you can't tell whether individual coins came in the cello version or in the flat packs. However, most of the ones that are toned, as this one is, especially along one edge of the coin, as this one is, came out of the box sets because the staples actually leached out a little bit of their color into the coins because they were stapled a little close to the edge of the coin. Just so you know. So, just to show you that the coin is not as dark as the photograph makes it appear, there it is alive right there. Now I'll move us back over to the slideshow and start the clock on this one. Give you guys a little bit of time to make a decision on this one at $8. Only $8 to get this one started. Can't get a venti mocha for that. Unless you're at my house where they cost about 50 cents. Got just a little bit left to go on this one, and we'll move on to the next item. If nobody's interested. 20 seconds left. Now don't forget that not only do we have Lincoln Cents, but we have a few other coins available too at lincolncent.com. Because I specialize in Lincoln Cents doesn't mean that's all I sell. But it is a large majority of what I sell. But go over to lincolncent.com, take a look around, see what you see, and remember that when you purchase on lincolncent.com, you'll get coin cards. Alright, no action on that one. Let's move over to the next item. We have a 1942D Lincoln Cent in MS66 red by NGC. And man, is this coin red. That color is no joke. That thing looks like a pumpkin. It's beautiful. Got Stephen Dallas going at 14 on this one. This one's starting at only $14. They're worth over $20 in this grade. We're working toward it, Anthony. We're working toward it. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the clock on this one, though. It's not exactly like we've got a bidding war going on here, but we might actually get one going if we start a clock and make people think a little faster. In 1942, Denver is not especially rare in MS66 red, but they are usually quite a bit more expensive than this one. Now, I've got this one started at the low price of 14. Stephen Dallas is taking advantage of that, so if anybody wants to take advantage of getting this still at an inexpensive price, you'd have to bid a little higher than 14. Got big news coming up, and we've also got a brand new feature that I'm going to start adding to my online broadcast living experience. Hoping that you don't have to answer the phone. Well, me too. Okay, we got time on this one. And Stephen Dallas at $14. Thank you, sir. Move on to the next item up for bids. This is a 1954 Washington quarter. Good old silver proof coin, and this one does have a full cameo. It's a really nice looking coin. We'll start this off at $23. I looked up the value of this one in a 64 cameo. This coin runs $40. I think this one grades higher than 64 cameo. So I started this one off really inexpensive, just to give everybody a chance to get in on these as cheaply as possible. Got this one open at $23. Now I'll go ahead and start the clock on this one. Hi, Barry. Now, everybody, we might hear a bear coming up behind me. It's not Barry, it's a bear. He's coming up behind me and he's making noise. If I'm really quiet, you might be able to hear him. It's my dog snoring. Poor guy. We got less than 20 seconds left to go on this particular coin. Nobody has bid the opening bid of $23. Do you want to try $20? Anybody want to take this one at $20? All right, we got hidden at $23, hidden at $20. Let's go ahead and give it to him at $20. And time is called. Hidden Mispatis gets this one at $20. Penny parent, make sure you make that apparent. Haha, see what I did there? Hey, don't give up the day job or the night job. All right, next item up for bids. How about a 1944D Lincoln Cent in MS67 red? Folks, I wish I could show this coin to you in all of its beautiful, wonderful glory, because this is one of the nicest Lincoln Cents I have ever seen. This coin came out of a roll of absolutely beautifully toned coins. The entire roll was toned. It came out of it was a Numis square tube, and over half the coins in this roll were 66s, and this coin was the nicest out of the entire bunch. This thing actually made me salivate when I was looking at it, because I was thinking it was going to go 68. Well, it didn't go 68, but it was by far the nicest coin I pulled out of that roll. And this, I don't know what kept it from a 68. Most of the little pick marks that you see on here are actually not on the coin, they're actually on the plastic. But you can see a little hit running through the left wheat lines on the reverse. That little hit running through the left wheat lines could possibly have kept it out of a 68 grade. Starting this one off at $45, folks. That's about half of its current value. If this had graded MS68 red, which there is some chance that it could still grade 68 red if you cracked it out and sent it back in, this coin would be worth hundreds of dollars, if not close to 1,000. The mere idea of all the luster this coin has is, well, it's could we say maybe should not be allowed? Let's see what I can get here for a view of the luster on this coin. We're going to try something brand new here. That's just clean as a baby's butt right there. That's what that coin is. Of course, I'm hand holding my camera and I'm hand holding the coin. So because I drink 6 quarts of coffee a day, we got just a little issue with my coordination. Let me flip this baby over and give you a good look at the reverse. See those pick marks? Those are all on the plastic. Those don't have anything to do with the coin. But that little line right there, running right through the wheat lines, there's a dent running right through the wheat lines. That probably kept this coin out of 68. Babies' butts might not be clean, but they are after you wipe them down real good. This is what I call a precious coin. If I lick it, I would probably be guilty of so many crimes. And the plastic doesn't taste very good. I've already tried that. And go ahead and start the timer on this and give you one more minute to make a decision about this. This is a feature coin, folks. It's a really nice one. Barry does me a favor, opens this one up at $45. This is one of those coins that I'm going to later regret having let go of, but it's part of what a dealer does, right? Can't keep everything you like. You don't make any money that way. And unfortunately, I still have to keep buying dog treats for this snoring bag of bones. Yeah, these things don't come cheap, even grading these things. I'm strictly selling the coin here, not the holder. Just a few seconds left on this one. We got Hoagie in at $46. Coin Junkie tries at $46, and Amber calls time. Sorry, Coin Junkie. And dog toys. Yes, I have to buy dog toys too. And let's keep moving. You thought that was special. Here's another one. There's a 1944 S. San Francisco minted in 67 red. Now these aren't quite as valuable as the 44D in 67 red. They come a little nicer. Not usually this nice, but they do come a little nicer. So here's a 1944 S Lincoln Wheat Cent. Superb Brilliant Red NGCMS 67. Lot number 141 starting at $35. And Stephen Dallas gives us a $35 bid, and the dog heard something and decided he needed to bark at it. What's going on? Huh? What's up over there? What's going on? Are you protecting me from the what? From that pile of pennies? You're protecting me from a pile of pennies. My dog finally does his job. Protecting me from a pile of pennies. We got Stephen Dallas with a $35 bid on this one. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock. Barry, you might want to stick around for a couple more minutes. We've got some announcements. And you have no idea what you'll miss, especially if you haven't looked at the list of items. What? What's the problem? Huh? What is it? What is it, Lassie? Did Timmy fall down the well? And we got Barry at 38 with less than 30 seconds left to go on this item. And my dog about to have an aneurysm over something. He suddenly hears something in the other part of the house. He thinks he needs to go investigate, and the door is closed. Starting to run low on time. What do you need, Sherm? What is it, buddy? Huh? What are you showing? Are you showing us your teeth? He sees himself on the screen. Are you that ugly? Huh? Are you that ugly? Okay. Now you woke everybody up. It's good. We're good. Yeah. Wag your nub. All right. He's wagging his nub. He's all happy now. He's going to lay down and go back to sleep. Okay. Here we go. Moving on to the next item. We have a 1946 Lincoln Cent MS66 Red. Now, these things are tough to find. Hard to find in this condition. He doesn't have a ball in here to squeak. He's looking around. He's not actually finding any toys in here tonight. I cleaned them all out earlier. This is lot number 142 in 1946. A Lincoln Cent in a beautiful, brilliant MS66 Red by NGC. They are just a little more forgiving with 1946, 47, and 48 Philadelphia Lincolns than they are with a number of other issues in this particular era, because those tend to be a lot more difficult to find in nice condition. And this thing's a very soft, nice coin. Soft being the luster has that satiny sheen to it. That's right, he's wasted all of his energy. Okay, I need to go let him out so he can investigate. He's ready to get out of here. Here. Go see. Well, he left this room with a purpose. He's just gonna go lay on my side of the bed and get it all stinky and icky and hot. I like a cold bed when I go to bed. Dog's usually laying with his butt right up against my pillow. That sounds like a personal problem. We got any interest at this level? Let's see, 1946 Lincoln Cent at $32. Are we sure? $32? If we get a bid, I keep going. If we don't get a bid, I'm going to pass on it and move on to the next item. We've got a bid. I'm going to start the clock now. Thank you, CM Silver, for your bid. And we've got the clock running. You got 1 minute left to make a decision. Let us know if you want that more than CM Silver does. Folks, some of the stuff that we've got going on here in the next month is just going to be earth-shattering. It's a quote-unquote big announcement. We We got CM Silver's bid at $32. Is there any other interest in this coin? Go out there and try finding these things, especially raw. They're really hard to find in this kind of condition. And we're getting low on time. And CM Silver takes this one at $32. Thank you for your bid. Now I'll move on to the next item. Now here's a 1922 Lincoln cent. Now 1922 Lincoln cents usually go for quite a bit more money than this one. This one has a little scratch above the date. This one could be construed as one of the weak mint marks, one of the weak Ds. Not really sure that's what this is. Some people would call this a VG defying coin because of the obverse and the softness in the cheek and the jaw. But they'd have to look at the reverse on this and see how strong those wheat lines are. This is a very fine coin. This is a very fine coin going for $9, folks. $9 starting. I'll go ahead and start the clock on this one just to see if there's any interest. Give you 1 minute to make a decision as to whether you want this one or not. I almost can't wait to throw the announcement out there. And somebody just left. Don't leave. It appears as though we may not have any interest in this particular coin at $9. That would tell me everyone here has a 1922D in their set, because you're not going to find one at this price in this condition often. Barry, you're good. You're already registered. Send order bids 9. And time. Send order gets that at the very last moment. Thank you for your bid. Let me reset the clock and move on to the next item. Here is a 1909 Lincoln cent with really nice, gemmy quality luster. This thing is a nice coin, and it's almost a detriment that it didn't show up to have all of the beautiful luster in the photograph. I'm going to bring this over to my camera, and I'm going to see if I can show you all the luster this coin has. If I can figure it out. So now I'm going to have to take the coin out of the holder and hold it by its edges like a good numismatist would. Look at that luster. Can you see that? I don't think I can get it to focus really on that. Maybe it'll focus on my fingers if I move them into the center of the frame. You see all that luster on that coin? That is a nice uncirculated coin. It's a really nice uncirculated coin. And then you look at this, and it doesn't look quite so beautifully uncirculated anymore. Which I just have a hard time understanding sometimes why my camera doesn't capture, and it could be the lighting that I'm using that's not capturing the luster on some of the coins I take photos of. Some of them it comes out beautiful, and some of them it just doesn't turn out so great. But this coin really has nice luster. It's a nice MS65 brown coin. I started it at $29. According to most of the price guides, its retail value is closer to $65. So I'm at less than half of retail price on this. And this coin has a lot of really nice color and toning to it as well. If we get an opening bid of $29 in the next few seconds, I'll go ahead and keep this one up. Otherwise, I'll pass on it and move on to the next item. And let's pass on this one. Moving on to the next item, we have a 1931 Lincoln cent and a beautiful piece of GSMS 65 red. Now the thing about this particular coin is that you will notice that there are a lot of little pickle spots on the reverse, and there is a scratch on the obverse, and it just kind of looks a little strange, but that's all plastic. The coin itself is absolutely beautiful. And 1931 is one of those years where it's just really tough to find original red coins like this. And this one is in a PCGS holder, which is the most recognized and respected grading service in the world for coins. Starting this one off at $99. Has a current value around $125. And it is lot number 145. I'll give you a few more seconds. Silence is golden sometimes. Pass. Move on to the 1955S Lincoln Wheat Cent and PCGS MS66 Red. This is lot number 146, and we're starting this at well below the cost to grade one of these. Nice, even, beautiful fields. Cent holder, I can't do 80. Sorry. Nice, beautiful fields on this coin. You will see a few pickle marks on the reverse, and that's strictly the holder, except for those little lines above the O of 1. Those are actually on the coin, but the ones down in cent in the United States of America, that's all part of the holder. Also, the marks below the ear and in the beard of Lincoln right in the center of the obverse, those are also on the holder. We have Stephen Dallas at $9. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this one and get it running down. Hidden Numismatist at 10. You've got 1 minute to make a decision as to whether you want this coin more than Hidden Numismatist. You'll have to give. Stream is offline. Why is the stream offline? What stream is offline? Can everybody see me or no? Okay. Alright, the way you do it is hold down Control and F5. And if you're a Macer, it's Command F5. Hello, Patrick. We're down to about 10 seconds left on this one. We've got Stephen Dallas at $11, the current high bid. Control actually clears cache and forces a refresh on everything. Just F5 will refresh with the cache that you currently have. Control F5 clears the cache while it does the refresh. Looks like Paula Bloom was a little late on a $12 bid because we've got a bid at $12 by Cent Hoarder. Cent Hoarder wins this because Amber has called time. Sorry to the others who bid higher. I need to refresh my screen. So I guess we might have had a little bit of a YouTube burp there. Okay, back live. This item has ended. Coin Junkie, if you'd like to send me an email with regard to what you would like to add, or if that you have requests for anything else, just contact me after the end of the auction, and I may or may not be able to get back to you tonight, but I will talk with you before sending you an invoice. I'm giving Penny Parent some time to get things restarted. It appears as though the lag got her too. I'll wait for her to come back to me before I get started again. But this makes a perfect time to move on to the next slide because, bam, we have a 10 roll original bank wrap lot of Shield cents. And these are different coins. There are different dates in here from 2010 through 2019. Every roll is original bank wrapped. Every roll contains 50 gem brilliant uncirculated Shield cents. And we're starting this one off at below $1 per roll. The last one was Cent Hoarder at $12. You, Paula, bid $12 at about the same time as Cent Hoarder. He got his bid in first, and then Amber called time. So we've got Bill Betts bids $10 on this. New Marshall in town takes it to $20. Where is Chris Hurley? I have no idea. Here you go, Anthony. Hope your phone didn't ring. We're up to 20 on this right now. It's a 10 roll lot of original bank wrapped Shield cents. We got anything and everything from 2010 to 2019 in here. Sorry, Anthony, current bid is $20. I'll go ahead and start the clock on this one. A little difficult to see the clock against this light colored background now. The light colored background and the fact that the rolls are shiny comes from the fact that these rolls are vacuum sealed. So if you get this lot and you want to keep these sealed, they're protected from the weather. They're protected from moisture. They're vacuum sealed for freshness. Red Anthony Goodley is at $21 on this one. You know what, I tell you what. Let me pause the clock on this. We're going to pause the clock. It's going to sit there at 5 seconds. We have a current bid of $25 on this item. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. For $12, I've got about 10 of these I can sell. At $12 a piece, just say bin and a quantity. And when we reach 12, Anthony, you don't have to bid anymore. A bid and a quantity. Paula, if you want one of them, you're good. Bill, you're good at one. Rudy Alfaro, you're good at one. $12 a piece, 10 rolls. Cent Hoarder, one. Paula wants one. Steve Reeves wants one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounted for. And New Marshall in town will take all the rest I have. I got 10 of these that I can sell. So New Marshall in town gets the other 5. Vintage Soul and Anthony Goodley, I will attempt to see what I can do to find more rolls that I can get for you guys. But I'm going to have to cut it off right there. Sorry, Anthony, if you're lagged, please refresh your browser. But that's where we are right now. I've got Bill at 1, Rudy at 1, Cent Hoarder at 1, Paula at 1, and Steve Reeves at 1, and then New Marshall in town for the other 5. And then Vintage Soul is on back order for 1, and Anthony Goodley is on back order for 2 more. Now what happens with you two is if I can find the coins to fulfill the order, I will do it, and then I will bill you. Otherwise, I will let you know that I don't have them in stock and cannot bill you for them because I don't bill for coins I don't currently have. But for both of you, Vintage Soul and Anthony Goodley, I will look and see if I can fill your orders for 1 and 2 respectively. That's how we're going to do this. And that's $12 a piece. I like doing things the fair way. Penny Parent, go ahead and write everything down. And while you're writing everything down, I think I'm going to make an announcement. Check that out. I got something I want to start with you guys. I'm not sure how easily or how well this is going to work. So we're going to have to do a test on it. But this is going to be an original bankroll night live opening. I have absolutely no idea right now when we're going to do the first one. However, what I'm looking at doing is taking bank wrapped rolls from dates that we can probably find good stuff in. And what I will do is I will sell all 50 coins in the roll before the roll is ever opened. That way you have a chance at getting whatever is in that roll. So let's say we open a roll of 1969S Lincoln Cents. You know what comes in 1969S Lincoln Cents. If you're real lucky, you get a double die. If you find one in the roll, you've probably found 3 or 4 in the roll. If we happen to get a roll that's like that, and you have purchased coin number 37, and coin number 37 happens to be a 1969S double die, then you're going to get that coin. I'm going to mail that coin to you for whatever you've paid for that slot. Now with 1969S, I would probably be looking at $3 or $4 a slot. So however many coins you want in the roll at $3 or $4 a piece, they belong to you. And that's how I'm going to do it. I've got a whole bunch of different rolls that I'm going to be doing. Some of them like 1960D, 1961D, 1963D, 1964. I've got a whole bunch of bank wrapped rolls. And so we're going to work up exactly how this is going to be working. Okay, I just read on Anthony. Anthony, I'll do something for you, whatever it takes, buddy. Whatever it takes, I'll do what it takes to make sure that you get your order filled. I do realize that now. Thank you, Barry, for bringing that up. But on this particular deal, I'm going to be announcing it on a Facebook and on YouTube that this is going to be a live opening. I'm going to have an additional camera that's actually going to be shining down at my hands so you can see what I'm doing at all times. There will be no shenanigans, no stuffing, no seating the rolls or anything to that effect. I'll be opening the bank wrapped rolls directly in front of you. And some of them could be quite old. Some of them could be... I mean, last year I opened a 1943 bank wrapped roll. So I've got a number of bank wrapped rolls here. Now, as a trailer onto that particular announcement, I'll let you guys know that I sealed the deal today and will be working into the near future to pick up a deal I just purchased today of more than, in excess of, 11,500 rolls of pennies. Number of these are bank wrapped rolls. They've been in storage for a long time. I've already had someone take a look at all of these. And these coins are in really good shape. And there are rolls going back into the 50s in this particular lot. And over the next month or so, I'm going to be doing a number of special auction events where I will be selling a large number of the rolls that come out of this deal. These coins range from the 40s all the way up through 2016, I believe, was the newest coins in there. More than 11,500 rolls of pennies. That's about $6,000 face value, or approximately 600,000 coins. And this particular feature that I'm working on doing is going to be a part of that deal, that we're going to start working these coins through a live opening of a bank wrapped roll. We won't be doing it on Tuesdays because Tuesday is auction night. We might do it on Monday or some other night of the week. We might even change it from different nights of the week. But what I'll do is I'll open the roll the entire list of all 50 coins will be there as to who owns them or who bought them. And one at a time, we will go with those coins under the Dynascope and show you guys what we've found for that particular coin. And then those coins will go into flips that are numbered with the position. And those coins at the end of the roll opening will be sent to the person who purchased those coins. There will be a shipping fee added to that. Look at Penny Parent get this. I work her to death. I'm sorry. But that's the big announcement, is that I'm about to take on 2 tons of pennies. I don't know of anybody who has 2 tons of pennies. I appreciate it, Scent Hoarder. I think if everybody tells Penny Parent what they want, I'll make sure that I go back and watch this again and get everybody in order until I run out. But I don't think I'm going to run out. I think I've got enough for everybody. Vintage Soul, you would be a yes. Forget MTV. No MTV. That's right, forget MTV. You can watch me on YouTube instead. Chuck and the Snoring Dog. You know what? I'm sure I'll be able to fill everyone's order who wants them. I've got probably enough to fill 12 to 15 of these. So let's just go ahead and make sure that we have everybody on here who wants one or more. Just let Penny Parent know, and we will get you an invoice. Yeah, MTV would be nice if they actually played videos. Alright, while we're working through that, I'm going to go ahead and let you take a look at the next item. How about that? A 1930D better than average circulated roll of 50 Lincoln cents. These coins are all pretty much very fine or better. This is 1930D. The entire roll is 1930D. And that's why we're going to start it at $25 for the roll. That's 50 cents a coin for coins that are generally $2 to $5 a piece depending on grade. Give everybody a chance to catch up. When you catch up, Penny Parent, let me know. Okay, here we go. Lot number 148, 1930D better than average circulated Lincoln cent roll of 50 coins. All of these coins grade very fine or better. And a very fine, check on value on the very fine, I believe, is at least $1 for a very fine coin. I use numismedia.com for collector fair market value pricing. And the retail value of a 1930D Lincoln cent in very fine is 81 cents. In extremely fine 40 is $1.84, and there could be some AUs in there which are $4.60 per coin. So let's say that they're worth $1 a coin. You're talking about a $50 roll here. Vintage Soul, I'll take care of you. No, the wrapper that these came in is a wrapper I designed, and this is how I keep track of what my inventory is. Those red stripes simply mean that these are better than average circulated pennies. If they were just average circulated pennies, it would not have the red stripes. I machine wrap these right here at Coppercoins World Headquarters. Thank you, Vintage Soul. We'll figure everything out. Let's go ahead and start the bidding on this at $25. I'll give it a few more seconds. If nobody wants to bid, I will move on to the next lot. This is a self-rolled roll of better than average circulated 1930D Lincoln cents. Each coin having a value of better than 50 cents. So the starting bid at $25 is a very fair starting bid. And it looks like nobody has a need today. So I'll pass and move on to the next roll. This one, folks, is a roll of 1946S Lincoln cents. Same thing. It's better than average circulated roll. 50 coins, 1946S. They've not been picked through. They've not been searched. They've not been messed with, except to sort them and put the better coins aside in tubes until the tube gets full. When the tube gets full, what's in the tube gets rolled, and what gets rolled is what you see here. 50 better than average circulated Lincoln cents from 1946, minted in San Francisco. You got 3 different mint mark styles. You've got a number of repunch mint marks. You've got an over mint mark. You've got a couple of double dies. All of those are possible here. We'll start this one at $9. We got Stephen Dallas at $9. Thank you, Steve, for opening the bid. Forgot about that, Barry. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. You could also get the inverted mint mark in here, which is one of the ball serif mint marks. It's supposed to have the weak part at the top, but if the weak part's at the bottom, you have the inverted mint mark. And go ahead and start the clock on this one. Get us moving. You got 1 minute to make a decision on whether you want to bid on this item. Then we'll move on to the next one. The wrappers are printed right here at Coppercoins headquarters. The rolls are assembled and wrapped right here. And it looks like we got less than 30 seconds for you to make a decision on whether you want this more than Stephen Dallas at $9. I see now that I have a typo in my title. It says circulated. Circulated. Strange. I can speak better than I can type. And we've got Steve Reeves at $10. We're getting close on time. And time. Time has been called. Steve Reeves gets this at $10. Thank you, Steve. Move on to the next item up for bids. Here's one for you. This is a 1963D. Original bank wrap, Fed Reserve Bank of Kansas City. Can guarantee you that I've never seen the contents of this roll except the coins on the end, and I only checked them for grade to see that they're okay. There's a number of repunch mint marks, a few double dies, especially the DDO number 1, which is an FS listed double die. I have no idea what's in this roll. Starting this one off at $9. Coin Junkie Silver bids at $9. It does have 1963D written on the outside of the wrapper, but the wrapper is still in relatively good condition. I'll go ahead and start the clock. Yes, I know there are coins in the roll. Most definitely there are coins in the roll, and it weighs out to be a 50 coin roll. And you never know, sometimes you get even better than what you're looking for. I had a roll of 57D one time that somehow got mixed in with some uncirculated 54S coins, and about a fourth of the roll was actually 54S and not 57D. Talk about cheap, because that was back when 57D rolls were under $2 a piece. Got Steve Reeves currently at $11 on this one. You got less than 30 seconds left to make a decision as to whether you want this more than he does at $11. And Anthony bids $12. We're getting close on time. Rudy Alfaro bids $20 on this one. And his final bid is higher than anyone else's. And time is called. I appreciate it, Rudy. Thank you very much. And I'm going to stop the clock and move on to the next item. We only have a few items left. We're at lot number 151, which is an original roll of 1986D Lincoln Cents. Now, let me explain something. If you look at the end coins, the one that's showing reverse has a little blemish and a few spots here and there, but the one showing the obverse has some black carbon spots on it. I don't know the condition of the rest of the coins inside this roll. The only thing that I do know is that the dealer wholesale bid on these is $18 a roll. If the coins inside this one turn out to all be fresh, nice coins, you've just bought yourself a bargain. If the coins inside this turn out to be spotted, you're taking the risk, but only at $5. This is cheaper than I purchased this roll for. So what we have, Rich wants a book. Would you please put him down for a book? So what we have is an original bank wrapped roll of shiny edges with no black spots or other bad issues going on the edges of the coins, and the roll end coins have some toning. There's every chance that the coins inside could be in far better condition. But we're going to start this at $5, which is less than 1/3 of dealer wholesale bid. And Stephen Dallas has a bid of $5 in. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock. We got one more minute to make a decision as to whether or not you want this roll more than Stephen Dallas does at $5. Hello, Pour Me Metals. We've got no other bids so far. Stephen Dallas is the high bid at $5 on this item. We're talking about a roll that typically bids at above $18. Your retail value on this roll is probably around $25 if the coins inside turn out to be clean. If they turn out to be spotty, then you've probably got a 50-cent roll of coins. Rich bids $6. Stephen Dallas at $7. New Marshall in town bids $8 right before time. So New Marshall in town, I appreciate it. Thank you for the bid. Now I'm going to move us on to the next item. We have a self-wrap roll of 1983 Philadelphia Lincoln cents. There are a few spots on one end, but the other end is nice and clean. When I wrap these coins, they all appeared to be nice and clean, but it appears that the end roll has just a little bit of spotting on it. But these coins, there's 50 coins here. These have not been checked for double dies, oddly enough. I get busy with this stuff and I don't look through these for varieties. I just roll them. So here's a 1983 Philly roll for $3. Starting this one off at only $3. Coin Dragon bids $3 on this one. Thank you, sir. Stephen Dallas at $4. Steve Reeves bids $4, needs to go higher. Blues Coins bids $5. Hello, Blues. Blues has a high bid currently at $5. I can hear the dog outside the door. He's sitting out there sniffing at the door. Coin Dragon bids $7, keeps the bids high. Should I let him in? Or should I let him sit out there? If he comes in, he's going to snore. We all know that. Blues is out. Thank you, sir. Coin Dragon currently has high bid at $7. I'm going to start the clock on this one and get it rolling. These early 80s Lincolns, when you get them nice and clean, they are actually difficult to find in this condition simply because the first few years of the zinc Lincoln cents tend to have a lot of issues with spotting, with plating blisters, with split plating, zinc oxide rot, a number of things. What I do when I get source rolls, I spill them out, I pull out all the spots, and I rewrap them because I don't want you getting the junk coins. The junk coins I take the loss on, and I have them in bins where I either take them to the bank or let somebody else purchase them at near face value. Running out of time on this one. Steve Reeves has the high bid of $8. Coin Dragon bids $13 just as the time expires. Thank you, sir. $13, that's stepping up to the plate for you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I'm going to move on to the next lot. This is our last lot of the night. That I can remember anyway. I think it is. This is a Robert F. Kennedy Flying Eagle token. This is a really cool little token. I got this in a box of coins I bought, and I just thought, that's really neat. It's just a little bit larger than a penny. It weighs less than a penny. I'm not sure what it's made of, but I think it's probably got some aluminum in it or something lighter than the typical zinc or copper that cents are made of. And this commemorates Robert F. Kennedy, and it has a pretty nice looking rendition of the Flying Eagle design on one side. We got this started off at $3. It's in the original card that it came in. And for those of you who don't remember, I will go ahead and, let's see, start the clock. For those of you who don't remember, Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1968 while he was out on his Democratic bid for a presidential nomination. He was killed in a hotel in Los Angeles. That happened in 1968. Steve in Dallas has a current bid of $5 on this item. Yes, it is blues. It's I believe it's 1925 to 1968. I searched on Google and I found this token a few times over on Google. And on eBay, I've seen them go as much as $8 a piece without the original packaging around them. I've not seen one for sale with the original packaging. Hoogie is up to $7 on this. Steve in Dallas at $8. We're getting close on time. Hoogie bids $9 again. And Amber Panel calls time with Hoogie's Hobby Shop at $9. I appreciate the bid. Thank you very much. And I believe, if I may be correct, we have one more lot. This is a rerun. We got one more lot. This is the last lot of the evening. It is 2019 Philadelphia plus Denver, a Lincoln Cent original bank wrapped roll 2-roll set. You get a roll of Philadelphia and a roll of Denver. I'm going to start the bidding on this one. Oh, why $5? Let's do $3. Who wants to bid on these at $3? Ignore the $5 minimum bid. We're going to start it at $3. Anthony Goodley put a bid of $5 in early. Anthony, do you still want it? You'd have to bid $4. Oh, okay, thank you very much. And yes, absolutely, folks. This really helps my bread and butter come down. We got 42 people watching right now. We have only like 28 likes on the video. If you mash that little like button down there at the bottom, you really help me out a lot, and I'd appreciate it. We've got Rich bidding $5 on this item now. So we're back up to the original starting bid at $5. Well, I'm not even going to run the clock on this one. I tell you what, we've got a current bid at $5. It's going to stay at $5. I've got about 20 of these that I can sell, 20 sets of the 2019 Philadelphia and Denver. Any number of these that you want. Now, I can only sell 20 of them right now, but any number of them that you want at $5, you just say bin and a quantity at $5, and they're yours. So Barry Johnson wants 1. Rich bins 2. CD, I'm not sure what that 3 means. I don't know if you were bidding $3 or if you wanted 3 sets. Bids at $5. It's current $5, and it will stay $5 for whoever wants these. You just write bin and tell me how many you want. Give you a little bit longer to make a decision on this. Bin price is $5. $5 per pair of rolls from 2019 Philadelphia and Denver. And with that, you can get your bins in if you want to after I take off from this lot. Just remember it's there. And here I am. I appreciate everybody. And this is it's been a good night. It's been a really good night, and I appreciate your support. I appreciate everything you guys do for me. I especially want to applaud Penny Parent, Amber, and Brady for helping out with moderating this, and for all of the people who have come back and back and back to watch this again and again and again. I will not be in town next week on Tuesday, so we are postponing the next appearance of our auction for the following Tuesday, which let's get my calendar out here. I should have had this practiced. It'll be the 25th of June. The 25th of June, we're going to hold another auction. And then it's going to be 2 weeks after that I'll be traveling cross country to procure over 11,500 rolls of Lincoln Cents. I am indeed ill in the head. I appreciate everyone's bids, and now the auction is over. Took me 2 hours. That's not bad. Took 2 hours. Yeah, a little heavy lifting. There will be a little heavy lifting involved. As much of it as possible, I'll be paying someone else to do. Thank you, Barry. I appreciate it. Cent Hoarder, I do not have early mat proofs. Just once in a great while, I run into one of those. Good night, Brian. Coin Dragon. There will be a lot of wheats in this. There's going to be a number of bank-wrapped memorial rolls. There's going to be a lot of tubed rolls. There's going to be a lot of it's a lot of the typical stuff, 60s and 70s. There's just going to be a ton of that, literally a ton. I think 1974 D alone, there were 681 rolls. 681. That's a big number. Anthony, Penny Parent, make sure that Anthony got on for that last bin. You wanted 2 of them, I believe. Nope, Anthony Goodley wanted 1. New Marshall in Town wanted 3. CD wanted 1. Bill Betts wanted 1. Barry Johnson for 1. Rich wanted 1. He was the high bidder. No, he actually wanted 2. Sorry. We'll straighten this out. We'll get everybody. Yeah, we've got, oh man. It's about 250 bank boxes full of rolls, plus a number of bags full of rolls, number of larger boxes full of rolls, and hidden numismatist, just like before. Wait until I send you an invoice through PayPal. You'll get an invoice in your email that you can pay directly through PayPal. And that's why everybody registered prior to bidding, so that I would know what your PayPal address is, so I can send you the invoice and we can directly do the transaction from there. It isn't all rolled. There are bags. Bags and bags and bags. The book offer, Stephen Dallas. This book right here. It's 42 pages. It's called Keys to the Lincoln, and the reason it's called Keys to the Lincoln is because it's about the key date issues of the Lincoln Cent. It tells you all of the die diagnostics for all of the different dies minting the different key date issues of Lincoln Cents. Shows you all the little die cracks and everything else to help you determine whether one that you are potentially purchasing is real or not. And it also helps you with which die your coin came from. So like a lot of people know that there were 4 different die pairs that minted the 1909 SVDB Lincoln Cents. But not a lot of people know that there are 7 different die pairs that minted the 1909S without the VDB. And then for instance, 1914D. 1914D had a total of 4 different die pairs, just like the 09S VDB. 1924D, that I could find in my research, there were only 4 different dies that minted all of those. The 1931S had 5 different dies. And this little book right here will help you out. Its typical retail price is $20 with shipping. And for today only, it's $10, including shipping. $10. Now, when you get one of these books, I probably should have announced this earlier, but when you get one of these books, it's not going to go in the same package as your coins. I'm going to mail it separately because I can mail it media rate and I can mail it flat without any extra weight and all that stuff, and it's a little less expensive than if I try to put coins together with a book. So I'd rather just put them separately. Yes, and I will sign any of the copies of the book that you guys order tonight for $10. I will sign and ship it to you at $10. How do I store and keep track of coins? One of the things that I do, I mean, especially with the higher dollar rolls, is I keep desiccant package with it and I put them inside a box. That way, none of the Florida heat and humidity could possibly get to them, even if we, for some reason, don't have air conditioning. But generally, it stays in the air conditioning. Semantic wants a book. Paulo's isn't signed. Are you sure? When I sign these books, where do I sign them? I sign them right inside the front, right down here in the bottom, below my name. So if yours isn't signed, we're going to have to get that taken care of. You're going to have to come down to Florida so I can sign it for you. The lesser valuable and circulated coins and rolls I save in the air conditioning. Grad student Shay, charge him double. I had to charge him double just because he collects $half. Paula, I will send you another one. How about that? Oh, and also I got your order off late from last week because it stood upright in a crevice that I didn't see it for a few days after I packaged it and thought it had gone off. And then I turn around and look at it and it's sitting there. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't good. So I took it down to the post office and put it in the mail. But when it comes to storage, I generally store a lot of the rolls that I have in a controlled environment. And sometimes I have to store them out of a controlled environment. And here's how. They go in boxes. And then I use this stuff. This stuff right here. And I wrap it in layers and layers and layers of this. So no moisture or heat or other things can necessarily get into them and cook the coins. It has ships now, Paula. I'm sorry. And put Paula down for a free book because her other one's not signed, so I'm going to send her one that's signed. Yeah, now the rolls that I send you, when I send you more than 1 or 2 rolls, they're actually vacuum sealed. It's not shrink wrap. It's different from shrink wrap because there's no air inside of them. Actually, when you cut the plastic, you can actually hear the air run into the plastic because it's been sucked completely out. And that's if I'm sending you more than 2 rolls. If I'm sending you only 2 rolls, I send them first class. So when I send them first class, I wrap them up inside of a bubble mailer to keep them nice and fresh and keep them from breaking apart or whatnot in the mail. But when I send more than 2 rolls, I send them in a small flat rate priority box, and that I can shrink wrap the coins and wrap them up in some bubble wrap and stick them in a box and mail them to you, and they get there in perfect condition. I learned this trick from a gentleman who sent me a whole bunch of rolls one time, and he sent them in priority mail boxes just like I described. And when I got them, they had not only been completely vacuum sealed, but they had also been wrapped up in heavy duty storage baggies and sealed in the storage baggies before they were sealed in the outer wrapping, which was the food saver bags. As soon as I saw that, I immediately went out and bought one of those of my own because I just thought that was a really cool idea. And so it is a cool idea, but it wasn't mine. But it is now because I use it. You can steal it all you want, Paula. I like it when people steal good ideas. You have any questions for me? I'm here. I can answer questions. I can tell you what the high temperature was today. We could talk about anything you want to talk about. $1931 is a rather tough date to get in 65 red, especially through PCGS. The coins tend to turn a little bit, and they don't stay bright red generally. A serious question, why are coins round? Well, I kind of imagine it has to do with the fact that there weren't collars back in the ancient times. And when they minted a coin, they took 2 dies that had designs on them and they put a slug of metal between them. And when they mashed together with a hammer or whatnot, it would pancake the coin out, and usually that would keep it in a round shape. And so it was just one of those useful things that they would turn, that would end up round. And so I guess that's why coins turned out being round on a regular basis, because other shapes without a retaining collar would be very hard to do. Although there are round coins that were cut into pieces, that were cut into pie pieces, that were cut into squares. There's a number of other things, but I guess one of the good reasons that coins are round is so that they roll. Sell the $14 toned penny. A $14 toned penny. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit on that so I'll know which I have a lot of $14 toned pennies. I wish I knew which one you were talking about. How rare is it to have a DDR DDO on the same coin? Well, that all depends on whether or not a DDO was paired with a DDR. And in cents, it happens once in a while. I don't know a lot about the other series, but I do know in half dollars it's rather frequent because double dies are actually rather frequent in half dollars. The Kennedy half dollars, probably a good fourth of the coins made had a little bit of doubling on the reverse. And if there's any doubling on the obverse, which is actually rather common, then you end up with a DDO DDR coin. I can tell you that they're actually a little more common in proof coins, because proof coins have much sharper detail and they will show the detail of doubling better than you'll get on business strike coins. and I have a number of coins, number of proof coins from the early 60s, number of proof Lincoln cents from the early 60s that have some doubling on the obverse and some doubling on the reverse. Is it true they started reeded edges back in the 1600s because people would clip off pieces of the coin? It is true. And it wasn't about clipping the coin off, it's about sanding it off, because you can actually run a piece of silver up against a rock or a piece of gold up against a rock and actually pull off pieces of the metal. And it would be really hard to notice that if there was not some design on the edge of the coin that keeps you from being able to do that without being noticed. And people did do that up until they started reading the coins. The link for the auctions that were on tonight is going to be coppercoins.com/auction. Don't let Chuck know you collect half dollars. Chuck just never really found a whole lot of purpose in half dollars. I used to use half dollars. I'd take them to, I'd go to the bank when I was a teenager. I'd go to the bank and I'd pick up rolls of half dollars and pull the silver ones out, take them down to the coin shop and sell them to the coin shop for gas money so I could go out on dates. This was back when finding silver in half dollars was still relatively common, so it was a pretty simple and easy job to do. If you wanted to stop at the bank with $50, you could sell, for instance, a roll of, or each coin, so you're paying 50 cents a coin for them from the bank. You get 65 cents for the 40% and $2 for the 90%. I sold a whole lot of coins that way. Trying to read back and see if I do remember when you purchased slab pennies from me, and all 5 of them were really nice. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You know what? I have no idea what this hoard that I'm going to pick up has in it specifically. I know that there's a lot of rolls. I know that there are a lot of wheat pennies. I know there are a lot of wheat penny rolls, and I know a lot of them are in really good shape. But I don't know exactly what kind of condition they're in. I could open them up and find a whole bunch of 64s and 5s in there, and they're pretty nice coins. I could find some of the wheat penny bags and rolls could be actually really old stuff that I don't know is in there. I don't know. It's you can't really tell on a bulk purchase until you start tearing it apart. And with with this particular deal, it's kind of I don't know, it's going to be a big mystery. Got a whole lot of stuff to do over the next couple of months, inventorying this huge lot of coins. If I don't get lost in it, you'll see me during an auction, and I'll be auctioning some of it off, and it's going to be relatively cheap because I'm going to be auctioning stuff at wholesale prices. In need of any 2019 plain Lincoln Shield cents. Sorry, brother, I got about 20 boxes of them right now. And I don't need any right now. I was chasing the double dies early in the year, and I found a source for some of them, but I haven't really done a whole lot with them since then. Mantic and Amber are talking about half dollars again. Let's talk rolls. The higher dollar rolls from the 70s, 80s, and 90s that have a pretty high wholesale bid. Some of them are really, really hard to find. For instance, like 1993D. Get out there and find me a few 1993D rolls. They're not easy to find. 86D, those are hard to find. And some of them are hard to find and they come up as kind of a surprise, like 1974S, 1978D. Those tend to be a little more difficult to find. But then there's the rolls like 1965. And 1965 rolls started out pretty high. And I can remember when I first started messing with Lincoln Cents, 1965 rolls were like $3.50 a roll. Now they're under $2 a roll. So the prices fluctuate by issue. So you can have a dollar roll this year could be $2 next year. And a $2 roll this year could be $1.50 next year. And it's all about supply and demand. It's all about how many bags have been found, what's the demand for them, what kind of prices are they generally going for. People like me who are just absolutely crazy and hold large numbers of coins, there could be a high demand for the ones that I happen to have, or I may have enough of them to completely fill the demand and basically trash the value of them by selling them cheap. So those are the little problems that we can run into. What made me like pennies so much? I was poor. And it's when you like collecting coins and you want to collect coins and you got nothing left to collect, can't really collect the quarters because you're only getting 50 cents a week. 50 cents a week meant a roll of pennies. So I could go through a whole roll of pennies and find what I wanted to find with my allowance and spend the rest on baseball cards. Do I collect Canadian? No. I have Canadian coins I need to be getting rid of, but the overall, the majority of what I've got, what I do, has always been American and Lincoln Cents. I started collecting coins when I was about 6 years old, and by the time I was 12, I had realized that I'd amassed a pretty decent sized collection for a kid my age. But then when I really started looking through the collection, I realized that there was very little order. I didn't have any key dates. I didn't have much of anything that was, let's say, value. I had a whole bunch of foreign coins. I had a whole bunch of the blue, we called them penny folders, but they had dimes and nickels and quarters and whatever and whatnot in them. And I was raised during the days of clad coinage, so if you found a circulated 1971 quarter and put it in a book, you thought you were doing yourself some good, but alas, 1971 quarters in circulated condition are still worth 25 cents. So I've been through, I guess, an epiphany when I was 15, 16 years old. I decided that I needed to specialize, and even at that point in time, I was still a little bit on the, let's say, poor side. I wasn't poor. I mean, it wasn't that I was raised poor. It's just that I didn't get a whole lot of money to spend on my own. And when I did, it was usually for other things than pennies, because I really liked pennies, but I didn't really want to spend any serious money. So when I got rid of all the other stuff that I'd had through the years and focused on pennies, I realized that I could learn a lot more about one subject and know one subject a lot better than I could have known, everything about every coin ever minted. I mean, have you ever seen a Krause? Huge book, number of volumes to that. There's a lot of thick catalogs running from the 1500s all the way up to date. Who could collect all that? Nobody. Well, even trying to do all of the red book coins would be pretty much impossible. So I decided that I would just collect pennies. And for years and years, that's all I did, just collect pennies. And it got to a point where I knew enough about pennies, I should probably start writing some things about them. So I started writing some things about them. When I started writing some things about them, I started picking up more and more extras and more duplicates and more B rolls that, I'd already been through, or I just had a whole lot of extra wheat pennies in a bucket. I had to do something with it. So I started selling them. And when I started selling them, I started making a little bit of money that I could turn back over to the hobby and start basically feeding my own greed and my own, let's say, habit. Well, I was feeding my habit with what I was buying. And I just kept buying and kept going through and kept buying and kept going through them and kept selling some. And I eventually became a dealer doing that. And that's where I am today. I've amassed a pretty big inventory of coins, and most of it's Lincoln cents. So that's a Bingo Brian Productions. You missed the whole auction. It's 11:30 in Florida. Unfortunately, I can't necessarily stay up all night catering to you Westerners. Trey's Treasures does not enjoy Lincoln cents. Right, Brian. You take, you've got rolls and rolls and rolls of silver. You've got a bag of this, a bag of that. You've got a whole bunch of British pennies over here. You got Zimbabwean dollars over there. You get all this stuff together, and what do you got? You got a bunch of stuff. Well, if you want it to mean anything, you've got to do something with it that actually means something. And that's what I did when I started putting my first set, then my second set, and then I started collecting sets of sets, and it became a habit. Quarters? Why quarters? They work really well in the vending machines. Other than that, I don't really think a whole lot of them. It is hard to let go of stuff, and here's the way that you do it in a way that isn't so hard. It's kind of like, back in 2014, I gave up smoking, and I was smoking roughly a pack of cigarettes a day. I gave up smoking and went to vaping. So I swapped one out for the other. I vaped for about a year, and then I quit doing it altogether. And what happened was that stopping smoking was a lot easier because I went to vaping. And then stopping vaping was easier because I weeded myself off of the nicotine to a point where I was vaping with no nicotine. Basically, it was doing me no good at all. And then I just quit. Let me check to see if I can find Anthony's last question. 72 OBW roll with a DDO 3-ender I can identify via die markers. Same rolls, I was getting 1 to 3 per roll. What would your value in a roll like that be? A roll with a 73 DDO ender, I would discount that one probably because it may have some dings or other things on it, unless I could see the coin. The coins on the inside would probably be nice 65 red coins, if the outside of the roll looks nice. And I would probably venture a guess of 3 to 5 double dies in the roll. Given that there'd be 3 to 5 double dies in the roll and a general value of about $20 per coin, I would estimate a $100 value for the roll. Sorry, I didn't see that was a question, but I do now. Thanks for leading me back to it. Now, where my story was going with the smoking was that changing coins is something like the smoking habit or an eating habit or any kind of a habit. You replace something with something else that's attractive to you so that you can quit thinking of the things that you're giving up. So when it comes time to start selling off coins, replace them with coins that you want, but do it with purpose. Do it with a purpose so that you've got one thing going on. Liquidating your collection is probably easiest done through Facebook. A lot of the Facebook groups that allow selling, you're going to get much higher than dealer prices for the coins. You're likely to get close to retail prices, and it doesn't cost you a whole lot to do it. Anthony, if that ender looks fine, then you've got even another nice coin there. But I'm still gonna say probably 100 for the roll. Because once those coins grade, if they grade at 65 red for DDO number 3, which happens to be one of the more common double dies, but if those grade at 65 red, you're looking at probably $20 to $30 per coin, maybe a little more. So you got two choices: open the roll and grade the coins, or sell the roll at what someone would think would be a slight discount off of what they would expect to get out of the roll. And you're probably not going to get full retail for all the double dies that you expect there to be in the roll, but you'll get more than wholesale value on the roll, that is. Well, if you've got someone who's going to charge you 6% to sell your stuff, and they're going to give you the price that's obtained minus the 6%, you're doing better than anyone who uses any shopping source that charges a fee with PayPal. Because, for instance, eBay, on the collectibles, the coins and collectibles, you're doing 6% for what you're selling, plus 3.5% at minimum for your PayPal fees. You do like Shopify. I have a Shopify store at lincolncent.com. I pay enough per month that the amount that I retrieve back out of sales on that, plus the PayPal fees again at 3%, I'm paying roughly 7-8% per month to run a Shopify store. If you could pay 6% to a dealer to use his customer resource to pay you the full retail minus 6%, take it. In an instant, take it. Because that also saves you all the work involved. I do this work because I like to do it. And when I go through doing work like this, I don't look at that as part of the expense. If the items are my items and I'm selling them, I want to dress them as well as I can for the party. And that's just it. I mean, I don't want to sell it in a bunch of, like this stuff, like this. This is how I sometimes put stuff together that I know what it is and what I'm going to do with it. But I would never sell stuff in just plain flips like this. I don't sell coins in the 2x2 holders. I buy them that way, but I don't sell them that way. And I like my rolls to look nice. I like my rolls to look nice to the point that I actually print my own wrappers for the rolls. What, $20 per roll? You got a pretty good deal on those. Because at $20 per roll, you're really only paying for one coin. And if you get 3, you're doing well. Well, not having the time to sell what you have, there's another reason why going to a dealer who's only going to charge you 6% to do all the work and sell the stuff. Now, the 6% he's going to charge you is that 6% off of a wholesale deal that he kicks it over to somebody else and gives you a wholesale price minus 6%. That may not be such a good thing. You may want to find a dealer who will buy it outright at wholesale. Because let's just say, for instance, a $10 item, to make the numbers round, wholesale price on it's going to be $6. If you're going to do $6 and subtract 6% from that, you're going to get $5.40. Whereas if you get the full retail and you subtract your 6% from that, you're going to get $9.40. The math isn't right, but it's something like that. But anyhow, it's if you're selling it at retail and taking 6% out, you're doing better than eBay. If you're selling wholesale and taking 6% out, you may as well do it yourself. Sell it to a dealer who will buy it straight out at wholesale. You shop around, you'll find somebody. Penny Parent, I know Steve in Dallas. I'll get his information. Scent Hoarder, do I have a complete wheat set? Not right now. I've had a number of them in the past, but sometimes I break them down, sometimes I sell them whole, or sometimes I just pass them along. And I have. No, I don't know Brian in Arlington. Only Bingo Brian Productions, and I know that. Yeah, I know Brian in Arlington. We've already done business, brother. I don't need your information again. So I'm trying to keep up with everybody here. Yeah, right now I don't have a complete wheat set. What I do have is stuff like this right here. Hang on. This will probably eventually come up for sale. But see, this is a partial wheat set. And there's a lot of nice BU coins. See the BU 1943s in there. And there's a lot of pretty coins in here. I bought this set. It will eventually come up for sale, but not now, not today. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do. Look at all the proofs in there. Oh, it's pretty proofs. But this is a full set all the way up. Well, it's even got a blank page in the back, but the set goes up to 1995, and it starts in the teens. It starts with 1909. There's a lot of coins in the teens and 20s that are pretty coins. They're very nice. And I purchased this set, and I'm eventually going to do something with it. But I might finish it and sell it. I might sell it incomplete. I might take the coins out of them and sell them separately. Brian, you joke all you want to joke. It's all good. Complete set minus the 22 no D and the 1909S no VDB. Most coins are circulated. He wants $600 for it. Is that a decent deal? Okay, two things. First thing is the 1922 no D is not part of a Lincoln set. 1922 no D is in the albums because the people who made the albums are idiots. The set would contain a 22D and nothing else for that year, so you're good there. And it says the 1909S no VDB. That would mean the 1909S without the VDB is not in there, but the one with the VDB is in there, and the set's $600. If the coin's real, and it's not an absolute dog, and you've got the 31S, you've got the 14D, the set's easily worth $600. You're welcome. If it doesn't have the 09S VDB in it, then you're going to have to look elsewhere for the rest of the money in the set, because the 1909S in a fine condition is going to be a $60 coin. 1909S VDB in a fine condition, it's going to be a $600 coin. So you've got a factor of 10 difference in value in two coins that sit right next to each other in the book. So you have to find your value in the 14S, the 11S, the 24D, the 31S, the 14D, and any other coins that might be in really great shape, because you can actually get some coins in really good shape and they're worth a lot of money. 1926S. So I'm just running up the chat real quick to make sure that I didn't miss anybody else's question. Cent Hoarder has trouble finding a 1922 no D. What can one expect to pay typically for a good 4 to find 15? That's a good question. They're going over $1,000 now for pretty much all of them. The good 4 is now you're looking at $400 to $500, and a high level fine is about $700. And once you get up to the very fine, you're starting to talk about something that's a little closer to $1,000. You got to be really careful with those, because there's removed D's, there's fake coins, there's the weak reverses that people don't seem to understand the difference between the strong and weak reverse. The strong reverse probably never had a mint mark on the die. That's a mistake. The weak reverses. Oh man, I wish I knew exactly where that coin was I found the other day. I actually found it and I was going to keep it out and show everybody. It was a 1945 S. And the mint mark was almost completely gone. It was a nice grade coin. It was a nice AU coin. Mint mark was just about gone. It was gone off the die, not off the coin. And that was a really good example of what happened with die 1 and die 3 and die 4 of the 1922 no D coins. The die basically wore out, and the D basically wore off the die, or was filled by muckety muck or whatever, because those are some of the ugliest coins ever minted were the 1922 Lincolns. And yeah, this 45D shows you a really good example of what happened with those die number 1, die number 3 1922 Lincoln cents. And I frankly wouldn't ever spend the money that people want on those coins, simply because they're just kind of ugly and they're really considered an error or a some sort of a different strike. And the only reason that people actually ever spent money on them is because they put them in the albums. Once they put a hole in the album for it, everybody wanted one. Then they started getting the PCGS registry and stuff like that together. And it's been a misunderstood issue from the day it was made, because people back in 1922 were actually looking for Philadelphia mint cents and they couldn't find any. And then suddenly somebody started finding just a few little ones here and there, and everybody started saying, "Oh yeah, those are valuable. Those are rare. We're going to get those." And over the years, for at least the next 15 to 20, 25 years, people were buying these coins actually thinking that there was a scarce 1922 Philadelphia minted issue. It's not the case. I mean, it's like a 1923S. 1923S, would you buy a 1923S for big money if I promised you that this 1923 coin that you were looking at was actually an S mint mark with mint mark gone? No, because it looks too much like a 23 Philly coin. Just like this 45 that I've got. You can barely see the S. The remnants of the S are on there, and you can see it. But the rest of the detail on the coin is nice and strong, and if you just glance at it, it looks like a 45 plain. And it's truly miraculous. I'll get it out and show it to you sometime. Didn't see a 31S on your store site. Where's the best place to find one? Actually, I don't have a 31S in stock right now that I can think of that doesn't belong to a set. I have a few of them in sets that I'm working on, but best place to find one, I know Tom Deck has a few. Look him up. Thomas Deck on Facebook. He's in the Vault. He's in the Virtual Coin Show. He's in a few places. Friend of mine from Michigan. And he may have them. He may have I know that he had one that was toned not long ago. He had it for sale. I'm not sure if he still got that one or not. He is a good person to buy from. I've known him, wow. I think I've known him since about 2001 or 2002. He was stationed in the Air Force at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, and I lived in Springfield, Missouri, and I was out of the Air Force by that time. And he and I kind of got together at a show, and I made some purchases from him. And after a while, he got stationed, I think, in Alaska. He left, and we just kind of lost touch. Then Facebook came around. And when Facebook came around, he was on Facebook, I was on Facebook, and we reconnected, and we got into coin groups together. Here we are. So I've known Tom for a number of years. But that's not saying he's the only person to buy one from. There's a number of people who are very good, reputable people in the Facebook groups. Mike Klein. I'm not going to try naming people, because if I do, I'll inevitably miss half of them or more. No, Tom never was AWACS. And thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Yeah, that I know of, Tom was never AWACS. He worked at Whiteman Air Force Base. They didn't have AWACS there. AWACS was at Tinker. And AWACS was in Elmendorf up in Alaska, along with a lot of forward positions overseas. I did spend at least a little bit of time at all the different bases that AWACS flies into or out of. Not AWOL either that I know of. Mike Badger, no, I've not been on my MeWe site lately. I kind of gave up on that after sales were just too hard to do with the format that they had there. And maybe if they've changed how they deal with sales, I might consider going back. If you know something that they do, like some sort of a marketplace or something to that effect, that would actually help me, that would be really cool if I knew about it. Maybe I should go and check it out and take a look. Whiteman did both B1 and B2. Huge prices and scams on Etsy. You know, I really don't know much about it. I know about the AliExpress and the Alibaba, the Chinese counterfeits that people are selling, and especially when you get into the dollar-sized coins like the trade dollars, Morgan dollars, and things like that. The fake ones out there, fake seeded dollars. I've even seen fake seeded dollars that had a date like 1875. I mean, in a time period that, or I'm sorry, 1895, in a time period when seeded dollars weren't even made. I guess the best way to shut them down is to educate people, because we can't really do anything to actively shut them down. The only thing that we can do is teach all of their customers that they're probably not the right people to be buying from, and start offering them things that are more attractive than being bludgeoned to death with a spoon over crap that they probably shouldn't be buying. Etsy's a drug money laundry? Maybe, but I sell on Etsy. I don't have a whole lot there, but I do sell on Etsy. $1972 error for 15,000. Maybe they're talking about the 1972, the type that has the island or doesn't have the island of Cuba on it, or the shape of the island of Cuba or something. There's types in those. Some of them are a lot more valuable than others, but I don't think any of them are close to 10,000. Yeah, I found that contacting these venues, a lot of times in their legal mumbo jumbo and their sign up terms of service, they're not responsible for anything that happens on their website, basically. And they somehow legally get away with not having any culpability for what happens on their website. So there's not really a whole lot of point in trying to contact them. Basically, you're just beating your head against the wall. Let's see, did they make the 1969 Lincoln Memorial Cents without a mint mark? Yes. 1969 Philadelphia Mint has no mint mark, just like the 68s and the 70s. They're worth, $6, $8, $10 a roll. They're in slightly higher demand than the Denver Mint coins, for the people building memorial sets, trying to get gem sets together. But yes, 1969. So I can find you a mintage figure real quick. 1969 Philadelphia Mint. They made 1,136,910,000. Have I ever used USA Coin Book? Nice site to sell or buy. No, I haven't. I can remember going to that website one time a long time ago and realizing that I believe the price guide they had there included all the major varieties, but the problem is most of the price guide was empty. I think it was that site, but it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and there's likely been a lot of changes since then. I usually keep myself so busy, I don't have a whole lot of time to do a lot of other stuff. Oh, regular 72 is circulated damage. Heck, you can see that anytime you want to on Facebook or eBay or any other website. There's a lot of idiots out there who think they've got something that's really worth something. Either that or they're trying to fool somebody into believing they've got something that's worth something when they actually don't. 2% seller fee. That's not bad. 2% seller fee. eBay 6% for coins. And of course, Facebook doesn't have a seller fee, but the problem with Facebook is they don't want you selling coins on their website. So when you do it, you're always, and I know it's a white knight type thing. You know, we can do this and we can get away with it because it's legal. There's nothing illegal about it except that Facebook doesn't really want you selling coins on their website. So you run the risk of a terms of service violation, which could mean termination of your account. If your account on Facebook is important to you at all, it may not be a great idea to run coins on Facebook, which is probably one of the bigger reasons why I stopped running auctions on a regular basis on Facebook, because my connection to the public for my website, for my YouTube channel, and for other things that do allow selling coins is Facebook. Right, and I've also seen where people have tried selling coins using Instagram. I'm not really sure how that works. I've seen people try using Twitter for that, and I think, actually, frankly, I think Twitter's on its way out. I haven't seen anybody use any of the other social media channels, like, I don't know what the other ones are anyway, but that's probably why. Other than MeWe, I've seen people use MeWe. And MeWe doesn't have any fees of any kind. It's really kind of I like to tell people when they ask me, what is MeWe? I tell them it's basically kind of like Facebook and Instagram had a child. And that's really kind of what it's like. You lived in Winter Park, Florida for a few years when you were younger. I'm not really near Winter Park, but it's a lot closer than you are now. And I've been to Bartow within the last 6 months. I know where that is. And it did rain all the time there because you lived in the center of the state. The center of the state gets more rain than the coasts do, because typically what happens is you've got the sea breeze coming off the Gulf, you've got the sea breeze coming off the Atlantic, they meet in the middle, and they cause clouds and rain. I live 4 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. I used to live 7 miles from the Gulf. So I've lived on both extremes of the peninsula, one side to the other, and we don't get all that much rain. It's a lot of our rain does come from tropical systems that usually come in the late summer. We generally have no rain at all from roughly October, November through March or April. And then it starts picking up and raining again. It rains through most of the summer. Yeah, and then the hurricanes. Hurricanes, tropical systems is where we get a lot of our rainfall. I've been in tropical systems that rained, maybe a half inch, and then I've been through tropical systems that rained 28 inches in 3 days. So you never know. Coin roll hunt. Do I coin roll hunt, and what are my best finds? Generally, the only coin roll hunting I do anymore is on higher expectation, higher value rolls. I don't just go through like bank rolls from circulated coins. I don't go through jars of circulated coins anymore. I don't really look at my pocket change. But if you hand me a 1944 D roll in a tube that has tape on it that's 50 years old, I'll open it up and look through it. And I'll look through it for pretty much anything, because whatever comes out of the roll is coming out of the roll. So if something's coming out of the roll, even one coin, then you've only got 49 coins left. You don't have a roll anymore. So I'll pull anything of value out. My best finds, I've been doing this for so long. I mean, I could tell you that, 15 years ago, I found my first 1970S small date in circulation, but it's a $10 coin. But I've been looking for it for most of my life. And so I found it in circulation, finally. But that's not near my most valuable pull. Most valuable pull, had an uncirculated roll of 1946S one time and found 3 of the 1946S over D in it. That was a valuable pull. but I don't coin roll hunt much anymore. I find myself having become, and I really don't want to put it out there as if I'm boasting or bragging at all, but I've kind of found myself with so many coins, I don't really have time to go digging through all of them. I make enough money to push product back out the door and make some money that I don't have the time nor the patience to sit and go through rolls and rolls and rolls of coins looking for something that may or may not be in there. I'll go through a 56D roll once in a while because there's some good stuff in there. I'll go through 44D rolls. I'll go through 1936 plain rolls. I'll do a number of things to find the good ones. But like when I go through, let's say 1963D rolls, if I go through an OBW for everyone else, I'm going to pull anything out that's a variety, anything that's a better condition coin, because you're going to pay for the coin anyway. You may as well get it, right? But if I were to rifle through a 1963D OBW for myself, I would only be looking for the one double diobverse with the 3 inside the 3. That's right, Brian. Concentrating on one thing, that can really do you a lot of good. It really can. And you might consider concentrating on something that not very many people do concentrate on, so at least you have a chance of making a big discovery of something. The modern quarters are not very heavily studied, but they're a little more heavily studied than, let's say, modern dimes. And I know that they can be a little boring because there's so many of them and there's so many different dies made every year, but the idea that you're actually going to be able to go through rolls and find something that nobody else even knows about could actually be exciting if you're going to do it that way. I mean, if you're after buying something that's tough to get, then you can actually put money out after something. Like, for instance, if you decide that you like Buffalo nickels or if you like Standing Liberty quarters, you can focus everything you've got in that one thing and not be all spread out like a squirrel hoarding nuts. And it's like, if you're a squirrel hoarding nuts, you're going to take any shape or size. But if it comes down to you being vigilant, looking for one particular coin, looking for one particular semi-key coin, you've got your Standing Liberty quarter set is near complete and you want that 27S with the full head, you're going to have a hard time finding those coins. And there's keys like that. There's condition census keys and there's mintage keys in every set. Yeah, Brian, you have to learn how to quell that addictive personality you have with regard to coins if you're going to try to focus on one thing, because addictive personality and focus are two things that don't work together really well unless you're focusing on your addiction, which can really get you in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I understand. I mean, tell your ADD. I get it. That's kind of like telling my Asperger's something. It's not going to listen to you very well. I have, as you can see, I have no problem talking to an audience. I have no problem being in a place where I'm maybe watched by a number of people, or I may have an audience of people off the stage or something like that. But you get me in a room with 4 or 5 people I'm supposed to talk to, I clam up. I don't like being in interpersonal conversation with people live, because it makes it very difficult for me, because I feel very awkward I feel less awkward talking to my computer screen knowing there's people watching than I do actually standing in a room shaking hands with people. Mike, that's actually not true. You can get me for a price, but I only do certain things. I mean, I do windows, I cook, I'll clean, I'll drive you wherever you want to go. I'm expensive, but I am available. Yeah, talking to people in person has always been really weird to me. It's always been something that um, I've not had a really good time with because I have Asperger's. I have a hard time seeing inflection. I have a hard time seeing tone. I have a really hard time being able to understand when someone is telling me a joke or when they're telling me the truth. I basically take them literally at everything they say. Um, I have a lot of trouble understanding when someone is inferring something or when someone is using sarcasm. If you've ever seen The Big Bang Theory and you see Sheldon, the character Sheldon, I'm very similar to the character Sheldon. In fact, that's one of the very few TV shows that really makes me laugh because I do relate so well to the characters in that show. And so I think on that note, and we're kind of getting slow with the chat, everybody's kind of off in a direction, paying attention to their own thing, and I'm getting kind of woozy and sleepy, and I know my dog's already asleep in my spot. I think I'm going to take off here pretty soon. And so I mentioned Bartow and Harley Davidson. Don't suppose I know a guy named Mike. No, I do not know a guy named Mike Keeley. But it's no reason not to ask. For sure. No, I don't know Mike Keeley, sorry. When I did go riding, it was usually with a few hundred people I didn't know. No problem, brother. Hey, you guys take a good, nice, chill break and enjoy life. And I'm gonna check out, go fall asleep, get up in the morning, working the same pump and grind, which for this week is cleaning up everything I can clean up to make room for Daddy, because I've got 2 tons of Daddy coming here in a couple of weeks. So you guys take care of yourselves, be good, and I will talk to you later.